Good day, folks. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Trevor, and I am your one-armed bandit in the bush. We're continuing in Death Valley in this episode, and this was a very interesting day. I went up and down 4 different trails before I eventually found a campsite that was viable for me just to spend the evening as I was winding down my part of the excursion in and out of the canyons, or at least so I had thought. So it was going to be my last night there. I went up and down 4 different trails. Each of those trails had numerous spurs. I probably tried the odd spur here and there, maybe 2 or 3 on each of those trails. And it took me well into the evening before eventually I came across something that was viable that I could use. So, not too much of the driving up and down. Once again, there's no drones, so, the footage is mostly that which I took after the vehicle had been stopped and once I'd reached campsite. However, it might have taken me all day. It might have been kind of the only real option left for me at the end of the day. I still think it was a good campsite. I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed the views. I enjoyed the sunrise. And, given that it was my last night out there, it was absolutely awesome just to experience the vistas across the pans and just to marvel at their magnificence. Totally and utterly enjoyed my visit into Death Valley. This is out on the far eastern side of the salt pan in Death Valley. And as I pan back around, you'll see just how expansive this is. It just goes on and on and on and on. And guess what? And it's been cold the last few nights. I wonder why. Who's been around? So there we go. That's where we're headed towards, down that way. Okay, so I went up to Queen of Sheba mine. And whilst there's a lot of very interesting spurs going up that look like they go to great campsites, I'm afraid there was a fair amount of damage on those trails, more than I wanted to actually take on by myself. I mean, wasn't all that difficult, all that technical. However, when I started thinking to myself, what happens, brother, if you get stuck here? Where are you going to winch off? And there were a couple of pebbles. None of them would have helped me. So I'm back on the west side road, and I'm going to go down to the next trail spur, and let's go see what I can find there. So I've reached a spot here where there's a bit of a washaway, and looks like the viable place would be to keep left and then to try swing right and make it up. But as you can see, this trail's been washed away here. If I had time, I guess I would stack rocks, because it then bends and goes back up that way. Now, beyond that first corner, to get up to that flat where there's a mine and potentially a campsite, looks like there's another washaway. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to turn around, go back, but I'm going to have to reverse down there, try to do a 3-point, and then get back up and go look for somewhere else. Well, I guess it's never as easy as you think, right? This is the second route that I've gone on, taken multiple spurs, all of them going to dead ends. This one would be quite nice to camp at, to be quite honest. Great view down the gully, but unfortunately it is on such a severe slope, I'd probably have to raise the front of the vehicle by at least a foot. So that means the surrounding ground is very slopey, not pleasant to camp on. So let's keep looking. All right, so after driving around the entire afternoon, it's now going on about 6:15 in the evening, I've eventually found somewhere where I'm going to camp tonight. Tomorrow morning I want to get up relatively early and head out west to where the dunes are. So this will be my last day out on this side of the park. Great view of the pans. Took me a long time to find this one. So let's just quickly get this tent up. I suspect I'm going to battle with that one a little bit, given just how hard it was to close it this morning. So let's get ourselves a glove, because I think that's going to ask for some hard pulling, that's for sure. Let's give that a little cursory wipe down. There we go. All right. So first things first, is this thing going to cooperate? And let me get a latch off. Let's see. Let's see if that'll help. Yeah. This is going to give me a problem tonight. I can see it. So, we'll need extra weight. Well, that's no good. It's clearly something that is causing that. I don't know why. Okay, up you go, baby. One of the suggestions that I've had from somebody who watches this channel was saying, hey, when you got to put these awning poles, why don't you start at the top? And it turns out that he was right. Starting at the top is easier insofar as being able to get the rod in. It's not exactly easier insofar as bending the rod and then trying to get it into the eye. In other words, instead of starting there, and typically this is the more difficult part, the suggestion is start there, which I actually have started doing, and to be honest, it is much better. However, you can't enter from this angle. So if you don't have the strength in your hand to bend this like that, you need to create leverage. All right, so the technique, simply just put it behind your elbow, keep the elbow out, just bend it, get it parallel, and just let it slide in. See, goes quite easy. But what I will also tell you is, don't try to do that backhand, because it don't work backhand. You got to do it forehanded. So for this one, I need to come on the outside of it. Okay. There you go. Thanks for the tip. Works great. And there we go. I say 20 is up. I think we'll slap a quick little nosh together. Let's see what we have in the refrigerator. But I am feeling quite peckish. So I'm going to get straight on with the dinner. And actually, that's not true. That's not true. Because I've spoken about this aspect many, many times. Excuse my boxes and everything jumping out here, but I haven't found anywhere yet to offload my garbage. So it's staying put right there for now. Let me get this out here quick. I think we'll plug you into smaller one to start with. refrigerator's working. So anyway, the point is, why drive all this distance to find somewhere to camp and the reason you're camping is to have fun, right? Not to be jerked around by stuff that won't close properly. So let me just get this thing straight in the back here. Okay. Just get all the extra stuff unhooked that doesn't have to be hooked. And then, of course, camper's honor. Woo! That one got a little bit of foam going there. There's no point doing all this hard driving, all this hard work. You arrive here, you're thirsty, and then the first thing you want to go and do is deprive yourself of a beer. So, cheers. Ah, it's nice and cold. So now, I will start thinking about dinner. So yes, it was time to get dinner ready, and it was recorded. And unfortunately, this was a point at which time, another user error by the cameraman. Forgot to switch on the microphone. So this whole section was recorded and there was absolutely no sound. However, what I had was mutton chops, which I had bride the previous night. So it was leftovers, proper camp food. Actually, standing there cooking with the sunset was pretty remarkable. What you can't see is what was behind the camera, and that was obviously those massive tall peaks with all the snow. So, yeah, this was sunset while I was busy preparing my dinner, having a quick little nash, and making sure the protein levels were stocked up for the next day. So, as it goes down, I think it's time for something else, nice and cold, to have a drink. I really don't think there's a better time in a valley when sunset descends upon it. I think it's absolutely amazing. And this place, from the elevated position that I'm in, a few miles back from the edge of the pan, just unbelievable. If you don't have a beer yet, I suggest you grab one. These are nice and cold. So, this kind of ends up the first 4 days out this part of the park. Tomorrow, I'll pack early and I'm going to head to the ranger station where I'm hoping to get a call into Melissa. I haven't spoken to her since Thursday, so I'm dying to hear the sound of her voice, man. It's a long time not to be in touch with somebody that's like deeply intertwined in your life. So that's order of business tomorrow. She's been on a training program, so I'm hoping she'll be available like kind of around about midday if I get there by that time. I actually have to backtrack all the way across to the far end of the pan. Then I need to cross it, and then I got to go all the way around on Badwater Road till I get back to the ranger station on the far side. So my guess is that could probably take me an hour and a half, 2 hours. The speed along these dirt tracks is about 35 miles an hour, and then it's between 55 and 35 on Badwater Road, just depending on where you're at. Most of the place, it's like 50, 55. So it's slow going. Wrap around there, and then I'm hoping that by tomorrow evening, I can get across to the western side. So that's where the sand dunes are. That's where I'm headed next. And I want to spend a few days exploring out in the dune area of the park, shooting a bit of footage there. And then after that, I'll be exiting and staying in the Greater Death Valley area, and then slowly work my way back towards Nevada, Vegas, because of course, Nevada is just outside the gate. So, have a great evening. Don't go away. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, fellas. So this is a 360 of the view. What I did is I just walked up slightly away from the vehicle, climbed up on a rock, and because it's not yet dark, I was standing on both legs. I didn't have one leg up, no need just yet. But take a look at this. What a tremendous valley this was. The peace at this time of the day is just unbelievable. It's quiet. The air's not moving. It's just there as a wonder to enjoy. Don't matter that there's snow behind me. Just look at those gorgeous pans. Well, that gorgeous pan as it rolls out in front of me. So in this footage of the night sky, you'll maybe be able to make out some fast-moving lights up there. Quite remarkable if you just look up what you'll actually see. Now this is recorded in regular speed, so I have not sped anything up. What you see shooting across the sky is very real. The magic hour. Sunrise. Death Valley. They should be coming straight up over there. As I pan across to the east, I'll see it's still nice and overcast. And there's still snow there. Yeah, that means it's still fresh down here, even though it is Death Valley. I'll see you at coffee time. I'm going to jump back up in the tent. It's rather cold. Doesn't really take much of a stretch of an imagination for that salt that's laying out there on the pan for it to look like ice. Yeah, and the wind's blowing straight from there and it feels like ice. So I'm going to zip up and I am going to be lazy and cover up for a while before I have coffee. So I'm on the opposite side of the pans from where I was camped and where I've been riding trails. And you can see what I was talking about insofar as it was cold. Yeah, look at the mountains. They're all covered in snow. All right, sorry about the shake, but that's on big time zoom. So let's go back again. On 2x zoom. Actually, that looks better. So I was in the canyons along that side of the salt pan, Death Valley. Thank you for watching. Time to move on to the next adventure and off to the other side of those gorgeous mountains. Let's see what awaits us.